What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable Trades podcast. Um, Appreciate everybody coming in. I already see plenty of chats coming through. Mike, Nasty, Freon, Leon, Dewald, Bossman. Uh, yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's get the sponsorships out of the way really quick if I can remember how to do this. And I'll be right back. I also want to thank our new sponsors, CallRail. So I've been more into marketing and just online presence with our business, even though we only do commercial. Word of mouth is really good for any business. But once you get to a place where you want to be, a big name online or just anywhere, be recognizable, like I said, online presence, have a nice website, be able to be searchable in Google and all these different search engines, and just have a big presence. You need to know where to spend your money, and all I'm going to say is that CallRail can help you track that if that's something that you're interested in. CallRail can tell you, hey, these are not working so much, these are working really good, stop spending your money here, put more money and effort into this, and just be smarter about what you spend. So make sure you go by callrail.com. They do have a no risk free trial and you can check it out for yourself. And when you're doing your day-to-day work, you got to make bids, you got to do those quotes. I think one of the things that we have to deal with now is finding and pricing out parts. And that's why I wanted to tell you guys about We Supply Trades. They are a family owned online distributor with over 90 years of experience in HVAC, hydronics, and the plumbing world. And if you need parts quickly, they have a massive inventory, which I've been told they've been adding to weekly. You can order by 3:30 p.m. Eastern and get it shipped same day. They have their pro membership, which is not only free, but you also get the benefit of better pricing, free shipping over $99, free returns. And for my listeners, you get a bonus of 15% off your first order with code reliable15. And if you're looking for a supplier who truly understands your world, please go check out wesupplytrades.com. I'll leave my exclusive link down in the description. And these guys just get it. Local HQ is a marketing that is geared towards the trades, proven strategies that get your business more leads. They can help you rank higher on Google and all that you would need. So reach out to them at localhq.com/reliable and mention me or the Reliable Trades podcast and get 2 months of SEO for free. All right, and I also want to thank Jobber. You can get a 2-week free trial, 20% off your business needs. Basically, that thing has been night and day for us. And VETO Pro Pack, you guys already know that. You see them in all my videos. You see how much I enjoy them. Kind of helped a little bit on the back end on some of the designs and best bags that you can invest in. They are pricey, but I promise you they are worth it. I also want to thank our newest sponsor, LiveSwitch. They are reinventing the video call for technicians. So I'm very excited to use it in our business to do like tech support with my employees, have customers upload photos and videos of that weird noise that they hear, in their system or whatever it is that they send us. And for it not to be like a blurry picture or blurry video, they can upload it. It's full resolution, all that kind of stuff. And they are also known for doing sporting events. You've seen them in WWE, NBA, NFL doing all the COVID stuff that they had going on. And then they've reinvented the 911 call basically, because you can now do video calls on 911. So LiveSwitch, amazing company, amazing people. Check them out. I'll have more information very soon. We kind of just started that sponsorship. And today's guest is a returning guest. We have another returning guest, Mr. Capital Coast himself. Let me just go ahead and bring him on already. What is going on, Matt? Mick?
What's up, Adrian? How
I
you
was
doing?
like, do I just call you Capital? Mick? I was,
Nick. We're going past that, man. We're old friends.
yeah.
Good to see you again.
How are you, man?
Man, we're doing really well. Life's good in the deep south, South Pacific, that is. And yeah, things are going great.
We
Family's
got
all
a
well and healthy, which is good.
we got a bit of a time traveler because it is Wednesday for you, isn't it?
It's Wednesday, 2 p.m. Just a
Because
little
it
bit
is
after 2
Tuesday over
here.
here, my friend.
I can tell you, I tell you, you're gonna have a good Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing bad will happen. You
Yeah,
can kind of predict the future there. So how's everything?
yeah,
You did you take a vacation recently? You said you came back from some time off and stuff.
yeah, yeah. I did. We just needed, when you get through a peak season. Winter is our peak season here, for those who don't know, and so when you get to the end of that crunch season, you're just tapped out, hey. And so decided to take the family back to Australia, where I'm originally from, and we snuck up to Queensland, to a place called Noosa, and it was just phenomenal. So just yeah, took a week and a half off there, with my girls, and just unplugged for a little while, which was good. And so beautiful weather,
It's
26 degrees Celsius,
it's
74, 75
fantastic.
degrees
Well,
Fahrenheit.
right now is a good time to do that kind of stuff. It's nicer weather, right? Um,
Yeah,
I'm in Texas. It is taking too damn long for it to cool down here because it's not crazy hot, but it's still 80, 90 degrees. I was like, can we have, some cooler weather? And I don't know when we're going to get it, but I'm hoping for that soon. But it was nice because I know Jason Johnson usually comes in the chat and he's like, if it's 80s, it is like paradise outside because it is like that is a big difference from our, midsummer temperatures where that actually feels like awesome down here.
yeah, yeah. So that was good just to get away for a little bit. When you have a small business, I don't think you ever really switch off, as you know. So I had to do some quotes while I was away. But all in all, it was a good time, mate.
Do you want to give them a quick rundown? Because you've been all over, but you're originally, or you
Sure.
can tell them where you're originally from and where you are right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, and anyone could also go back to our previous podcast to sort of get the
The
overall
full
bigger
story.
picture of the full story about traveling the world and doing HVAC in different parts of the country. So, Mick Richardson, born and raised in Sydney, Australia. Did my apprenticeship, 4-year apprenticeship there in refrigeration and air conditioning in Sydney at Ultimotive, which is a technical college there in Sydney. I worked for commercial outfits and then worked for some manufacturers. I worked for a company called Actron Air, which was Australia's largest manufacturer of air conditioning systems. Then went back to night school and did small business enterprise management for 2 years, because at the time I thought, after I turned out of my 4-year apprenticeship, I was going to start a business straight away. I had a lot more to learn. But that was a great course that gave me a foundation of business, and running a small business. From there, I could have gone two ways. I was with a partner at the time, and we decided I was going to do some traveling, get some world experience. And a lot of Australians, come from British heritage, and we typically head back to Europe or that motherland,
Yeah.
to visit in that time when you're in your early 20s. But we actually came to the US. I was lucky enough to get a job with Train, Pacific Coast Train there in California. So I lived in San Francisco for 5 years. I also started up a cafe, or a couple of cafes there in San Francisco. Uh, Still in the HVAC trade. It was there where I moved over from the mechanical side into the control side. So Train had sort of just released their Tracer Summit, a line of controllers, and I was lucky enough to get on board that journey, and they taught me how to program and do all building automation and controls, which is great.
Yep.
From there, I moved over to Honeywell. Worked for Honeywell Building Solutions in controls, and then from there got into power systems. So it got me into working with utilities, power utilities, and eventually what I thought would be only 2 years in the States turned out to be 17 years. And my father back in Sydney retired, and I just felt like I should be closer to home.
Hmm.
And so, a long story short, my sister had moved out to New Zealand. and we hadn't visited New Zealand before that, and so I took my daughter and my partner to visit New Zealand and also visit Australia. And we went back to the US, and I said, "Hey, which do you like?" And they really like New Zealand, and so that's what set us on our collision
I
course
I
for
don't
the
I
North
don't blame
Island
them.
here.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I've heard great things about Australia and New Zealand, so it's a good two to choose from if I would, if I had to say anything. But yeah, the Aussie from New Zealand now and running a business, doing his own
Yeah,
thing. You're doing pretty well for yourself.
thanks, brother. Yeah, it's so I still wear two hats. I haven't made the full transition into Capital and Coast. I still work
Oh,
for
okay. That was
Transpower, which is
gonna be my
a national
next
grid
kind
owner
of
operator.
question there.
Um, yeah,
And
and
Freon
so
says to have a pack of Foster beer.
you know what? No one drinks fucking Fosters, mate. I tell you, no one drinks Fosters. So two
You
is
heard that,
two is
Freon?
old. 4X would be something else that someone else would probably say. No one drinks 4X.
Okay.
VBs and anyway, we could go down a slippery slope here, mate. But yeah.
So how's
um,
the whole business thing? So you're still juggling that as like a side. I don't want to say side business, but it's
yeah,
still a double
mate.
time for you because you still have your other job. Which job are you at right now then?
Yeah. So still with Transpower, National Grid Owner Operator, and so I
Okay.
run flexibility. I'm the flexibility services manager there. It's a great opportunity to engage with emerging technologies that can impact the national grid. So things like renewables, batteries, EV, and how we can use um, consumer devices or distributed energy resources like air conditioning heat pumps, pool pumps to flex at different times when the grid's constrained and to bring relief. So that part, it's really is pretty interesting. So I get to meet different people, different technology providers, and research and trial some programs that deploy that technology. And then on the other hand, yeah, Capital and Coast, which is my other passion. And it's more on the air side, HVAC. Sorry for my HVAC ARC friends out there, but it's
I
something
feel
that
str-
really is,
I feel strongly about that refrigeration side. I'm just gonna say.
yeah, I know I think we've got a few Aussies from Melbourne that have dialed in here
Oh
as
yeah, we
well. I
got
can
we
see them
got
here. Uh,
mechanical environments. They
yeah,
do a lot of unique systems out there for the growth facilities that they take care of. That's an amazing little niche on its own and all that kind of stuff. And Freon here was saying that he heard that bringing up that Foster's comment would piss you off, so that's why he brought that up. So I
yeah,
guess it's
yeah.
true.
He said he was going to take the piss out of me. Yeah, it is true. Yeah, and I'll send you some good Aussie beer, Adrian, for you to try out as well. But yeah, back to the business, Capital and Coast. We've been 3 years now as a side
Okay.
hustle side gig. I've learned a lot on the way. I think I heard your conversation recently with Ewok and his journey about stepping in or learning about business and eventually doing his thing.
That kid's
But
that kid's like
yeah,
19.
that kid's a rock star, eh? Really, I think some word of advice is plug into some good mentors in both in the business and outside of your business.
Yeah.
But yeah, things like getting branding done. Like here's a really cool collab that we're doing with Leadhead, which is a New Zealand hat company here. Things like getting stickers made up that we stick on the outdoor units.
Hmm.
Little things like even business cards. We're
Yeah.
getting legit.
See,
I just got this
that's what
sign
people
made up
don't.
as well.
Yeah, people don't
Uh,
understand because the conversation I had with him, because we had talked, I think, off air at some point, and the whole marketing thing is, and all of that is marketing. The business card, the hat, all of that, whether you think of it as marketing or not, you have
yeah,
to spend on marketing. So if you're doing residential work, you might want to do some social media ads. If you're doing, for us, it's the wrap, which I have it pulled up. The Capitol Coast looks pretty
oh
good on
yeah,
that van. But that's a
What do you
mobile
think?
billboard,
What do you
right?
rate
Oh, I
it?
love it. It's I think we had talked about it because I was like, you should start simple and
We
kind of
did.
play with it.
Yeah, we did actually. I think I flicked you some early designs, and I got that free advice from you, which is always good, the free stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was a big step. When you invest. So that was, for me to do was
Hey,
3K.
let me
Yeah,
let me just
that's
let me tell you this. It's way better than what we did on our first van. We just had a bunch of lettering everywhere, and it was just a mess. I still have pictures somewhere, but it was like a mess of words because my dad went as far because I did the design, right? Like I had to do the logos and all that, but my dad randomly went to go get it lettered one day without telling me, so I didn't approve it. And he went on the
yeah. So
side
the back.
and basically put every freaking brand of equipment that we worked on. So one whole side just had a whole bunch of brands on it. I was like, we don't need that. We don't need that.
Yeah. So that was probably our first transition this year. Getting a van. It's a transit sport custom. So I don't think you have those in the US. You have the larger transporter. But
Well,
these
I
are
need to
these
ask
are
Jake because
short.
he has the baby van.
Does he? Okay.
I don't know. I forgot
um,
what it's
so-
called. Actually, I can't. I'm going blank right now. He has the small one. I have the regular one, and then Curtis had I think the extra long one, and the tall one.
extra.
Because you can
Okay.
stand in his. I can't stand in mine.
Okay. Yeah, so these come also with the extra tall in the same sort of wheelbase, or
Oh,
long
okay.
wheelbase. This one's double sliding door on both sides, and then
Yeah,
barn
Jake
door
Jake
on the
has one
back.
like
So
that. I'm jealous about
cool.
that part.
Um, and the roof racks too, man. They all pop down. So you don't get the whistling and all that stuff. If you want to put your ladders and stuff on top, you can open it up. So for
Oh,
me, that was the bit that probably the
it's
major
the
expense was getting
Transit
get.
Connect.
Oh,
That's
Transit
what
Connect.
that's what
Gotcha.
it's called here.
So that's the next size. That's I think a little bit smaller than that one. The Yeah, and so yeah, so that was getting the van. So we were, I think previously when we first met Adrian about over a year ago now, I was running out of a Subaru Forester. you
Yeah.
so getting the van and then getting it fitted out. So I have another friend here. Matt makes objects, makes custom shelving, and just a good friend of mine. And so I got another design layout from someone who's a mentor of mine in Australia, Mick Chatwood, and he had a Volkswagen Transport, and I really liked the way that he laid out his, and so I sort of modeled the interior based off that. And so getting the van and getting mobile separate from your daily driver, it was a great step. And I guess
Oh
we're
yeah.
growing Capital Coast organically, so it's not the idea of not getting in too much debt at all, and being creative around financing and getting
Oh
things
yeah.
done. That's how we've done it.
See, I,
So it's
I did
if you want to learn how to do it on the way down.
yeah, I did a business, not a business. I did a podcast for somebody today. Like I was actually a guest, and I have a few more that I'm supposed to do, and they want or they are more business geared, right? They're like to me business gurus, or they give tips or whatever it is, and they've asked me to be on, and I'm like, I don't have any business secrets. We just don't get in debt, right? We charge more than we spend, and then we're
Yes.
not stupid with our money. So don't get in a hole, because when we started, and I can tell you from experience, we've had ups and downs, and we've had all sorts of crazy stuff happen. Like we had employees that would go crazy with the gas card, and we had one that was
Yeah.
secretly like filling up his own tank and like all this other crap. So been through all that. And then they would also keep buying parts, and I'm like, guys, we have parts piling up. You keep forgetting that you buy a part and you buy another part, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I kid you not, dude. I had Once we let those guys go, I worked out of that truck stock that they had accumulated for damn near a year. Just all the parts that I kept finding in that pile. So it took me
Yeah.
a long time to go through all the damn parts that they bought. So just be smart with your money. Now we buy everything cash. We don't have any debt. We buy
Yeah,
used vehicles. That's another big one. Is I don't want to spend money on something new because I'm gonna beat it to shit. So there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration depending on who you are and what kind of business you have, and your goals and the amount of money that you have to start with or anything like that. Take that all into consideration because you don't have to go out and buy a brand new van and get it all wrapped and
no, you
go
don't.
crazy with it.
No,
Like it I don't know how you have it outfitted, but I've started to do a little less with mine because I was carrying too
yep,
much at one point, and I was like, oh,
yep.
I need to pull back a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So we've done very, I guess, minimalist approach. Before that, we were stealth. So no sign writing, nothing. It was just, I hadn't made that decision yet to get the van signed. There's two options. I see a lot of vans driving around that there's no sign writing, but yeah, we sort of made that clear decision to step into it this year to get it sign rated, and you're right, you can get it quite cluttered really quickly and easy, and especially in our trade, you've got how many gas bottles are we carrying to, how many service tools that you need, because I do both breakdown, I do install and service, right,
Yeah.
and preventative maintenance, and trying to fit that all in. So like you, I take what I need for the day. I've got a little garage that I store up everything else in, and if I don't get it, all my jobs, I kid you not, all my jobs are only around sort of half an hour to 45 minutes max drive for me. So
Okay. Yeah, and that's another
I'm
thing, trying
pretty
to
lucky.
keep your service area reasonable because we did like because where I'm at, like some of these cities were like 4 hours away, 3 hours away, and that kind of screwed us over because then we'd be out there and then one of our good customers, loyal customers, was like, I need something now, and it's like, well, we're all over here or whatever it was. So um, know your market and know how much you want to service and try to keep that
Yeah,
under control too, because at least for me, like I do a lot of driving, so we do have kind of a system in place. Like it's 2 hours one way, 2 hours another way. We have enough guys now to kind of take care of it. And just like
yeah,
you mentioned about like the garage thing, I started doing that too because before I tried to carry every refrigerant. On my old van, I had like two racks and basically like seven tanks, including recovery tanks. And
it's
I was
ridiculous,
like,
eh?
when I got the new one, I was like, I don't want two racks. So I have the one that has four slots, and I take out what I need, and what I need, what I'm not going to use goes in the garage. Like, this day I
Yeah,
might not need 404 or 134 or whatever it is that we're working on because we do refrigeration and stuff. So I'll take it. I actually did that a lot this week. Like, I schedule myself, or I try to, for the next day for some of these calls, and it's like, okay, what do I need today? And then, okay, today I need the
yeah,
recovery machine. I don't even carry that on the van because when am I going to do a random change out, right? It's usually scheduled. So that recovery and that kind of stuff stays in the garage, and then I'll just pull it in the
yes,
van when I need it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I use that, almost like just in time kind of approach where even my extension ladder, I don't have it on the top of the truck. I'll only bring it out when I need it for the calls. Maybe it's just because how how the jobs are kind of working out for me right now. I know that you know when you have a small business, you wear many hats. You're the salesperson. You're the you're everything, right? And
Oh man.
I find that um, my approach when I'm selling equipment or meeting customers for the first time or pricing out a ducted system or something like that is and again I've had to learn this technique is I've already got a day job. My salary is great, and I've got a day job, and so when I'm approaching a customer, it's really that show the quote and the price and where things are at, but it's their decision. It's like, look, you choose it. If you want to do it, you go for it. I don't really care. It's like
Oh, I still
I'm
have that
good. I'm
mindset
good. So
too.
there's no pushing. Yeah, there's that no pushing, and I think we have very similar personality. I think we have similar music interests as well. But I think there's that push pull kind of effect, and where before I might try approach that would be a little bit more pushy, and I realize after the fact I thought, oh, that approach is not, or that didn't work for that particular customer. And I was like my worst critique. I'd come back after going, why did I miss that? Did I miss something? And did I not pick up on certain things? But anyway,
I go
um,
through that with new customers. Like I'm like, are they okay with my price? Are they comfortable with me? Like, did I do this right?
yeah,
I do that too because I'm dealing with that. We got like several new customers within the past couple of weeks, and I'm just trying to
yeah,
make sure that they know all the information. I give them all the pricing,
yes,
and I'm like, you let me know. I'm not trying to push it. I'm not trying to, trying to screw you over, trying to scam you. If you don't call me back,
yeah.
I'll be working somewhere else. I'm fine. But if you
I'm
do
all
want
good.
us to do the yeah, if you
Yeah,
do want us to do the work, approve it and we'll get you on the schedule. Like we'll take care of you. And they've been happy. So I always
yeah,
worry too with like with new customers, like what they think
yeah,
and their kind of mindset. And I'm also trying to figure out like, what like do they want to spend or do they want to, repair more or save that equipment. And I learned the one thing that I did learn that took me a while was in my head, because I'm very frugal. I'm very like, I don't like to spend money. So in my head, I was like, everybody's like that, right? Like if it was me,
yeah,
I wouldn't want to pay X amount of dollars to get something new or get something installed, or maybe it's a repair that I think is too expensive, but it's not up to
yeah,
you. It's up to the customer, right? I just had one that I told them, it's going to be a couple $1,000s or up to a couple $1,000 just to fix this line set and kind of the mess that this other company made. Or,
mm,
for a little bit more, or I guess triple the price, but like, a good amount more, you get a brand new system, warranty, everything, and this and that. They wanted the repair. I was like, okay, I gave you the options. We'll do it.
yeah, yeah. 100%. I think trying to listen to the voice of the customer is a big thing that we've learned. I know that I've learned over my journey. The other the other thing is what are they truly looking for, and trying to flesh that out early, so I'm not going away designing a full solution for them when they all they want is that part changed, you know. But also
Yeah.
knowing now, having more knowledge about what things cost here in New Zealand, because my knowledge is spread all over from Australia to the US, and like learning what your true worth is in the country that you're at. It took me some time, and being comfortable with pricing where I was at. Another big lesson I learned is being transparent with how I'm delivering my quotes to customers. So breaking down my hours separately to the parts that I'm installing to the equipment that's going in. So most of the time I'm sharing three different pricing for the total. And that gets away from those questions of like, can you please break down that pricing? um,
Yeah.
I've already done it, and they already see it. And then just being open and honest with them, and I know I'm going to be probably the most expensive quote that they're probably going to see, and there's reasons why I stand behind my quote, and that is we're all about quality versus value, and what I'm doing
Yeah.
is going to go in, it's going to stay in and be healthy for a long period of time. I'm factory
Ooh,
trained. I follow.
I just
Yeah.
I just had a good one because like, I've been going back and forth with my dad on pricing, and this
Yep.
is the first time that he actually brought it up before I did. He's like, I think we need to, next year go
Yeah.
up a little bit, right? And I'm like, yeah, we're
Yep.
we're kind of we usually strive for like the middle ground because there are some that like are ridiculously expensive, right? There's always going to be those
Yep.
companies, and then there's us,
Yep.
and then there's like the really cheap ones. So we're starting to get left behind a little bit just because of the pricing that's been going on recently, right? The
Sure.
past couple of years. So we're probably going to move up again next year. And most of them, they might give one little comment here and there, like, "Oh, are you going to raise your prices, this and that?" But they won't. They won't complain in the long run, right? They trust you.
Yeah.
They know your work. Your work speaks for itself. All that kind of stuff. And time again, because there's a couple that ask for like two or three of us as companies to bid and quote and all that, right? And then they pick one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And time again, they find out that the cheapest one, kind of does a horrible job, right? I just had
Yeah.
one and I did record. I got kind of mad because I forgot to record or forgot to hit the record button on some parts, but I just had one and I showed it on the I think I showed it on Nights last week. Somebody
Mm.
replaced the condenser to a walk-in box, right? And I was like, boy, I hope they change the TXV, you know. And then I went in there. I had to do it the next day because it was like late at night. Open up the
Mm.
panel and there is like blobs of solder. They did change the TXV, good thing, but blobs of
Mm.
solder everywhere and a kinked pipe, and all I have to redo all that because it wasn't done right the first time. And of course,
Yep.
that was a cheaper company, and that's the kind of work that they get, right? So
Yeah.
they see it. They have to learn from it. I have some customers that I think are too embarrassed to, you know, have us go back and fix it. They try to, you know, play it off like, oh, you know, they took care of it, they did this and that, whatever, and then eventually we'll get to do it. It's just I've gone behind some weird ones lately where I was like, oh,
Mm.
okay, that was the cheapest bid.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I went through recently as I'm going through my vendors' pricing, not necessarily the mechanical equipment, but more things like pipe and those type of things that you would normally have as van stock solder. And it's interesting to see the price has gone up on those stuff as well. That it might be only $20 or $30, but you're not passing that on, and so that's something. And so it's making sure I'm doing that regularly, to keep an eye on those pricing on especially stuff that
Oh
I'm
yeah, I was
using,
telling
in
people
our
I
in
check
stock.
monthly on these prices because they change frequently. Like
Yeah,
refrigerant
refrigerant.
is a
Yeah, geez.
good
Yeah,
example of that.
yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
you mentioned solder, that has changed quite a bit too.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I used to
Um,
buy this for like half the price.
yeah, 30% silver. Yeah, yeah, one of those days, eh? Yeah, and I miss some of there's some old there are some fridge mechanics I can see on the chat group. I'll give them a hard time, but R12, what a great refrigerant, and R22, and I miss those days of working with those pressures, and um, and how things have moved on and shifted, and I think I think one of the reasons I wanted to sort of reach out to you again and continue is sort of the, there are some unique tools that we need as technicians to work on equipment. And I followed your channel, I think, since it started, really, Adrian. And I'm just looking at my bag here. I've got some tools here, and I'm like, yeah, I can pick a lot of things on here. I got because you had promoted them, or you had shared. This is a great tool to have, or you should really look at this. And from the VETO Pro Pack to the even the VETO SC45 that clips on the side where I can put my probes and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Most people know I'm a fill piece guy. That's pretty much what I rock here. But there's other factory smart tools and devices that I use in my day to day that help me troubleshoot systems, and I thought that might be a good one to sort of cover on today's sort of session. We just do a high level overview of that, and then or maybe if there's any other questions or answers or things that come on the live chat, we could do that. But really flexible today, man. So
Oh yeah.
whatever you want to hit, we can go for it. Yeah.
What kind of so when you say your tools for your the tools that you need for the kind of work that you do, what kind of work are you talking about?
Yeah.
And you know,
So
you, I can pull up some of the photos or whichever ones you want me to, or
yeah,
um,
sure. I think what we'll probably I'll focus more on heat pumps, and it's probably some of the major brands that we see here in New Zealand. It's probably equivalent to Australia and in the US as well. So we are a Daikin dealer. We're also a Panasonic dealer here in New Zealand. I do sell Fujitsu, but I tend to be more on the other side, upper level kind of heat pump systems. That particular picture that you see there is the transmission monitoring tool by Daikin. The cool thing about this tool is that it plugs in to your communication bus on certain types of Daikin equipment. And keep in mind, I'm going to be talking about residential tools. to work on
Yeah.
residential equipment. Some of this stuff has been out for a while in the commercial. Most of the time you would need a certain program on your laptop to plug into VRF, VRVs and that kind of thing. But I just want to talk about the residential side of things. And so transmission monitoring tool is great because you can plug it either at the indoor or the outdoor unit. I don't need probes or sensors to tell me what the gas pressure is or what my thermistor readings are inside the space. It's all on that screen. It also tells me the troubleshooting codes that pop up if that system was having a particular problem.
So this
There's
is a
another one.
monitor that you carry with you when you come to these systems?
Yes, correct. There's a factory tool. Initially, it was only internally to the factory of Dakin when they were, putting the systems together and plugging in and testing in the factory before they release them. So sometimes some of these tools can be difficult to get your hand on. Some manufacturers don't allow those tools to go out the door. So here in New Zealand, they can sell this tool. You can purchase, and this one has been out for this one's been out for a while. But again, the nice thing on this one, although it doesn't record, I've seen places there's a modification you can do to the tool, which you can put an SD card in and record the data that you're collecting. That way, if you can record it, then you can send it to tech support for them to help troubleshoot if you've got a major issue with the system. But that functionality from Japan is not released here in New Zealand. Apparently, you can make a small mod and you can do it yourself. But that's one tool. The other Dakin tool, if you want to flash up that other Dakin tool, which is the Dakin D checker, which is a little square one, looks like this. That you call it a D checker there in the States. We call it a Bluetooth checker here, and that one, that's a great image there. So that's the same system. I turned up
wireless
with just a different So it plugs into the PCB of the outdoor unit, this particular tool. And then I've got a special Dakin app that I download from the App Store, pair it with that wireless adapter, and then again I can start to see this real-time information posted. I don't have to bring out any probes. I don't have to bring out any manifolds. My gas pressures are there. My temperatures are there. It's all available on my phone. See, the great thing about this tool.
And I tell people you don't need to, just in general, real quick, like you don't need to gauge up all the time, but when you have the information there, because it's a sealed system, but it has all these transducers and all these other things attached to it, just look at the information, because we have that for us. It's like on walk-ins with Heatcraft. I go through that thing and check every little input that it has.
Yes. So this particular system, when the customer reached out to me as a Transpower employee, says I have a Dakin system and it looks like it's going into defrost often, and so in my mind and defrost, we're in a heating cycle here, so I have some suspicions, but to be able to go out there, plug in the factory tools, keep in mind that heat pumps are programmed and designed to keep running as long as possible. So if they've got a fault, they're going to do everything they can do to compensate to keep condition of the space. And so the last resort they do is then lock themselves out on an error code of a particular reason. So they're doing everything to compensate. It's hard when you don't have that visualization of what's happening with the EEV. You don't know what position, you don't know how many pulses it is, you don't know how far open it is without having certain tools. And this is one of those tools, right? So this unit was actually shorter refrigerant. It was shorter refrigerant by about, I'm going to talk kilos here, I'm sorry, but it was short by like 1.4 kilos. It should have had a little over 2 kilos in the system, and it was short by half, basically. And the way that you can go through that diagnostic process outside of the unit's defrosting and there's ice on it and it's doing it often is by looking at tools like this, which will point you in the right direction. So this particular system had to recover the refrigerant, weigh it out, put it into a vac. Actually, I double vacked it with double nitro brake, got it down to about 250 microns, and then weight charged it back in, let the system settle, and then take the readings again, and it was a night and day. Funny enough, this one didn't hurt. So that's one of the other tools. The other one, I'm going to just show you quickly. I don't know if I gave you a picture for it, but Panasonic. So Panasonic have a have a thermostat like this. It's their Connex thermostat. I don't know if you can
Mm-hmm.
see that. And they have a mobile application as well that you download, H&C diagnostics application. And this particular thermostat is why well, you can get Bluetooth or Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled. I carry this in my bag. I can disconnect the thermostat that's on the wall, plug this into that. It's only 2 wires, and then connect it Bluetooth to the thermostat, and then I get all those points, just kind of like what you saw with the Dakin, all those sensor points for that particular unit, all the trouble codes. If a sensor thermistor is out of tolerance, I'm not there with a multimeter measuring the resistance and looking up a resistance table. I can visually check it straight away, and if it's reading 50 degrees when the system's been off for the last hour and everything's settled, and that's the only sensor it's quite easy to identify which thermistor, and then being able to pinpoint it. And then you can bring out your tool and do your checks on it and check the ohms across it and work out where it is on the table.
And all this goes to my point that I've had with people recently is the technology, because days of just putting together some parts, changing out some parts, technically being a parts changer, right? Because I've worked with technicians that will slap every part until it finally works. And they're like, "Hey, I fixed it. I mean, you changed like 5 or 6 parts, but yeah, you finally got it." You do have to keep up to date, because it's because I had this conversation earlier, and it's like, the amount of things that we need to keep up with, right? Like you deal with a lot of heat pumps. I'm not familiar with heat pumps, and I just started seeing them on the commercial side. I dread the day that I have to change out a reversing valve, but I started seeing them, and these are things that you constantly have to keep, learning and getting better at, and dealing with this stuff. Like when we started seeing like digital stuff like this on walk-in coolers and freezers, everybody freaked out. And I'm like, dude, it's the same system. We're just going to go through the control panel. We're going to go through the settings. We're going to make sure everything is looking okay, right? And then you're going to have some specialty tools here and there, and a lot of it, because I know like Pat Finley and a few others I've talked to like to do like this what do you call it, in non-evasive checking, right? Like being able to check these systems, because on like a mini split, you only got 1 port. I'm not too familiar with them, but you only got like 1 port on most of them, right? I deal with R290. You're not supposed to have ports, or they don't come like that. So you got to learn different methods and be better at different things, or you're going to get left behind. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I guess it's something else that's great about our trade. If I could speak honestly, I love learning about new stuff. I love learning about new technology. And there's some older techs, or techs that don't enjoy that part of the journey. I mean, I'm 48 and I still love the trade. I fucking love it. I love it because there's new things like this that help me and guide me to troubleshooting issues, being quick. And then there's nothing better than taking a screenshot and showing the customer, right? So a lot of the stuff that we do, and to them it's like black magic. Like I've seen that guy. He's got the ladder. He's on the roof. He's done something, and he's come down, and it's now cooling. But how good is it to show them screenshots? You could show before, after, performance levels, and it's super easy. Easy when you know how to use the tool, right?
Yep.
The other cool things about mini splits, in particular, troubleshooting mini splits. And so in my bag, I have a separate bag that these tools all go into. I have the majority of hand remotes as well, infrared remotes.
I've only personally installed 2 mini splits in my, in the past couple of years, and I am not familiar with like any of that, like diagnosing or any of that, because I haven't been called to fix one yet. I've installed 2.
So pretty much all the major brands, or I guess it goes back to the fundamentals of air conditioning or refrigeration stay the same, right? So that's always really good to home in onto your fundamentals, making sure you understand how a refrigeration or air conditioning system works. All mini splits that have an infrared remote have the capability for error recall. error recall, which is when you're going to a site, it's in a service mode or it's out on service and it's got blinking lights. You can use the hand remote, and it will tell you what the error code is on the hand remote, and then you refer it to a table, troubleshooting table, and it will give you guidance of more than likely what's caused that problem and what's the flow on how to potentially repair it, right? So there's different ways to access that error recode in every different manufacturer. So thank God for AI, because I use it all the time. I can put certain things in AI, ChatGPT or Copilot, and it gives me the sequence of the special buttons that I need to hold down. Now for Dakin's pretty easy. It's just the cancel button you can hold down for 5 seconds. That is I guess, an easy mode to get into. When you're factory trained on Dakin systems, there's other error code recall functionalities that you can get into. And this is another secret one. Don't give this away. Secret source mode and up and down temperatures will give you into the service factory error recall function, which can sometimes give you the error code before it's even shared on the other type of end consumer error code message. So those tips and tricks that I guess as you learn about a system, and I guess it goes back to getting factory trained. Words of wisdom, something that served me well in my time is, if you're servicing a certain product or delivering a certain product to your customers, try to get as much training from that factory as possible.
And that's another thing technicians don't like to do.
Correct. It'll serve you well. So there's nothing. So for me, I have probably 3 or 4 of the major brands in remotes that I keep in my bag, and the reason why is that I don't want to mess around with the homeowner's remote. Sometimes the functionality changes that I'm doing could affect some operation or their set point temperatures or stuff like that, or various things on the hand remote. They've put a schedule on there or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so there's some of the other things. This is pretty cool. You wait till you check this out. So you have ECM motors there in the States with various systems in refrigeration and air conditioning. This is an agnostic ECM motor checker that I made. It can service any GRE, Daikin, Mitsubishi, Fujitsu type of plugs. I can adjust the speed of that fan, of that ECM motor, the indoor fan motor or outdoor fan motor, and then I can also see the feedback, because those ECM motors give feedback to the indoor PCB to give speed and various signals back, and I can check that. The reason why this stuff's important is that a lot of manufacturers, when you're working with a indoor or an outdoor PCB board that's failed or it's taken out, sometimes it's a separate component that's taken out that board. A lot of times it's not. It could be just the PCB board that's failed. A lot of manufacturers would say, if you're replacing the PCB board or on an outdoor unit, you might want to also change the outdoor fan motors. And that's an expense, right, for a customer. They're already saying that you need to replace the board, and now you've got to replace the fan. But there wasn't really a tool that you could just quickly check without really getting down to your multimeter, and but even then, getting the feedback loop can be challenging. Different manufacturers have different techniques. So this little PCB board allows me to plug in. I can drive the fan open and close. I can hear if it's knocking, bearings, whatever it might be, or it's not giving feedback, and then I can say yes, that motor can be changed as well with that PCB board, or no, I don't have to do that. I can save the customer money, and we can just change the outdoor PCB board. So that was pretty cool. The other one was
you just made that in your spare time?
No, it's a printed circuit board that I got offshore, and then adapted it in this. The case is like fucking overkill, man. Like it's just.
You know what that reminds me of? My dad collects watches, and his watches come in those kinds of boxes.
Oh, that's probably the NVIDIA.
He likes to collect them.
Go ahead.
No. I was like, he has a stack of them in his room.
It is a watch box. It is a fucking watch box. Yeah, check it out.
That's his favorite freaking watch.
So I'm happy to share the link with anyone on the chat group of where you can get this from. Believe me, it's less than $100 New Zealand dollars. So and they come with
if you share it, I'll put it in a comment or something.
Yeah. The other really cool tool, again, dealing with inverters and checking inverters for your compressor, making sure that the inverter signal as well as frequencies are where they should be is the inverter checker. So this is by Mitsubishi, but you can also use this on other brands. It just connects to your legs of your compressor, and once you fire up, it connects to the what would you call it, the patch cable or the wiring to your compressor terminals. You just take out the wires from your compressor terminals and you clip it either with the factory clip or alligator clip, and then you can see your inverter and also know if all your legs are giving the signal that they should give. You got to have one of these. And another one from Mitsubishi Electric allows you to plug into their heat pumps as well, which looks like this little tool. And then you can set some dip switch settings, plug this into the PCB, and then walk through various operations and monitoring. So from anything from liquid line temperature to discharge temperature, a number of times that your compressor started, you can get that information from this little tool here. They all, it takes time to work out how to use them. I completely understand that, but a lot of the times, if you don't have the right tools, you can't work on it. That's where systems are,
nowadays it is necessary to have these things, like depending on what you do, right? The specialty tools for what you do exactly. And it's funny though, because my dad, because now I go help a lot of the guys, right? Like we have apprentices, we have new guys, and I'll go around and help them. And there's been a few jobs where we're like doing a change out or doing something, right? And I'm helping. I do a lot of the brazing and the commissioning, but they do the heavy lifting now, and I kind of get help on that end more so now. And they run into a problem, and I'm like, wait, I'll be right back. I go to the van, get like a specialty tool that I have, and give it to them. Oh, okay. And then, I got another problem. Okay, hold on. Let me run to the van real quick, because I will buy anything that makes my job easier and more convenient. So I have I think one of my guys was like, man, you really do have all the little gadgets and this and that in your van. I'm like, yeah, like if you see anything that you like in my van or that you find helpful, like let me know, and we'll get it for you, or anything like that, because we try to outfit them to make their job easier too. I'm like, if you need that, keep it, or I'll get you one, or this and that. Like I've been there where I never used to use a drill. I used a screwdriver for all the damn screws, for several years. And then I finally was like, you know what? I need a drill. And then after that, I'm like, you know what? I need a bender. You know what? I need this. I need that. Like, these are tools that you need. I mean, you're not going to get them all at once when you start.
Yeah.
It's an accumulation, and it's just, you got to, again, like you got to learn, and you got to keep evolving and keep learning and growing and getting all these tools. And you mentioned like the the little codes and stuff on your remote controls, right? Like we have that. Again, I'm going to go back to Heatcraft because that's what I'm the most familiar with, right? There's like a service code that you got to put into to get to everything, to set it. There was one though, I don't know, because I do post that kind of stuff on my channel. So there's a chance that a restaurant owner might see it, right? And like, oh, I know the code, let me go do it. So I don't know if this was a restaurant owner that did it, or some other technician just didn't know what the hell they were doing. Because I had to go into one a few months ago where I was like, it's not working. It's acting funny. I put in the code and I was like, let's just go through the basics, right? Go and start from scratch. What pressure do I have? What superheat do I have? What's my TXV or electronic expansion valve doing? All that kind of stuff. And somebody just went and screwed all the settings up, and the superheat was like set for 20. And I'm like, what the hell? Like I had to go in there and reprogram it. And that's happened several times. So again, I'm kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was a restaurant owner messing with it, but if these are technicians doing this, you gotta learn some stuff, because I've done that several times where I have to go and reprogram something just because another company didn't know how to, or didn't know what they were doing.
There, there, there are a lot of things. I'm finding more and more that I need to also not be a jack of all trades and master of none. And so when the stuff that I've worked on, and then even onto the things that you see on the van, specific brands that I'm working on. So Daikin, Panasonic, I kind of want to stay in the lane and get really good at servicing and looking after those systems.
It's okay to
Um,
niche down or be in
yeah,
in one particular part of your trade, because we try to do a lot before too, and now I kind of try to network to get people to help me if I do need, duct work or something that I just don't want to do. But our restaurant work, our kitchen work is where I
yeah,
want to stay. I've been asked to do other things. And I'm like, no, no, no. Like I'm comfortable here. I am really, really good at this. I'm gonna be really bad at other things, right? Like if you spread yourself thin, it's good to have skills. There's always good skills to get doing other things, but it's really good if you can kind of perfect one part of it, because
yep,
I can work on walk-ins and refrigeration equipment all day, and that is what I'm best at, and that's what I love to do, and that's kind of what I stick to. And
yes,
it's benefited me because there are guys that do, all kinds of ACs, all sizes, all refrigeration equipment. They try to do everything, or like maintenance people, right? And then they
yes,
can't figure it out. I go in there and I'm like, oh, it's just this or that, and it's like because I've studied that so much and I've worked on it so much, I've
yes,
perfected it. I feel the same way about my dad. My dad is like the expert on like this hot side stuff, particularly with certain restaurants that we have here, because there's technicians again that don't know certain brands, and my dad is the one that's like, oh no, this brand does this brand is
yeah,
this way. Like he's very particular on certain kinds of equipment, and he's the guy to call. And I kind of took that inspiration and kind of put that work ethic in my work to be like that
yeah,
on the refrigeration side.
yes. I was just looking at the chat. There were some questions about the inverter checker. Yeah, so this one, you're right, is a Mitsubishi inverter checker. It's done when, so you have to disconnect the compressor and your wiring loom to the compressor, and you connect the other end of the inverter checker to that wiring loom. So the compressor is completely out of the circuit. So you're just checking the output on the inverter board. Um, I I've used this on other brands. So even though it says Mitsubishi on it, I've used it on Daikin, Toshiba, Fujitsu, and it works just fine. Just to answer some of those questions. Um, there are sometimes I think. Oh, Luke from FlameTech. G'day, mate. So Luke, you're in Adelaide, I think, and maybe Victoria soon. I'm just joking. So that yeah, so it's kind of agnostic. If you look at the Daikin one, it looks exactly like the Mitsubishi one, and there are some modes of operation that you need to potentially place the system in. So Daikin has a specific mode that you run it in to check the inverter. Um, but again, just having a tool like that really helps with diagnosing what is going on
What
with your system.
voltage
And
does
then,
that work up to?
so this one, I think it's 400 volts,
Oh,
415 volts. Yeah, so it's uh, so AC coming in, DC converter, then AC going back out to smooth, and yeah. And it's very, very much like how you test a three-phase compressor, right? All the legs should be the same when you're checking the compressor. All the ohms should be the same, and then obviously if you need a mega meter as well to check the windings. Those things are all fairly your standard of how you diagnose a compressor. But how to diagnose a bad inverter board that's serving a compressor is a whole other story, and that's the tool that you need. You need an inverter checker. Yeah, you have to have one.
yeah.
um,
We've had some discussions, and even in our business, about misdiagnosing. So that's a big thing, right? You don't want to be wrong. You don't want to call back. You don't want to. I've had to catch, when I help some techs, like, oh, it has to be this. It's this. So they jump to something big, and I'm like, did you check this or that? And we go through it, and
yeah,
sure enough, it's something super small, super cheap. I was like, imagine if you had
Yeah.
replaced that compressor or replaced whatever motor, and the damn thing doesn't work. Like what then, right? So
Yeah.
something is to be said about like having the right tools, obviously, like with what you do, and this stuff goes over me a little bit. I have worked on a few like variable speed compressors. I ran into one
Yeah.
a year or two ago. Like that threw me off. I was like, oh, I didn't know about this. Didn't know I would see it
Yeah.
in the kind of work that I do. And then we started seeing Aeon units that are, in my opinion, over engineered for a super small fast food chain. But here we are, and I tackle those the same way I tackle anything. There's a lot of technology packed into a lot of equipment nowadays. And again, there's tools
Yeah.
that can help you. So, I mean, you've shown some good ones there for, the kind of work that you do. But it's all the same, right? Like I think you mentioned earlier, same cycle, same rejecting
Yeah.
heat, all the, components, everything together.
Yeah.
And it's just, you got to learn all the safeties in between and all the controls in between. That's what changes. And that's all that changes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And listening to the customer, because they can give you a lot of information as well, right? For instance, my customer with that Dakin unit that was going into defrost, he said, it's going to defrost like 5 times and the outdoor ambient's only 12 degrees Celsius. I don't know why it's going into defrost so many times. And so, you take that knowledge and then you apply it with things that you've learned or you've seen in the past, and it can home you in onto the end with the right tools. Yeah, can
That was,
home you
that
in
was
pretty
one of
quickly.
the, like early in my, I guess my channel or whatever it is, like that was one of the tips I would give people because they would ask me about it. And I'm like, talk to your customer. Cause like in my instance, it's like, talking to the cooks or whoever's actually handling the equipment that I'm working on. Like the owner might not know what's going on right there in their office the whole day or whatever it is. Go talk to the guy that actually has to cook on it or work
Yeah.
around it or work with it. And he's going to be frustrated because it's not working. So he can tell you exactly when it happened and what it started doing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, my whole thing when I get there is just a conversation, starting a conversation with the customer as to, hey, what's going on? Tell me, what happened, and kind of get that story from them first, and then keep it in mind and go work on the unit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, you've just got to you put those pieces of that pie together, and then that'll give you the bigger picture, and then you go and attack it. And then there's
Yeah.
sometimes where you have to step away, and I think I've heard you say this a few times where it's like you've gone down an avenue and the machine's just doing something really out of the norm, out of the ordinary, and you've done everything.
Hmm.
You've waited for tech support. There've been no help, and you've just like the last thing you do is put your hand out and pray. And
Eventually, you'll get there.
or clear your mind, you'll get there. And we've all been down. I think I remember you telling a story once where you pulled every goddamn wire, and you've rewired the system basically. Part of it was probably a learning process as well as just trying to find out what the hell was causing something happen. And we've all been there, where you're
Yeah, I
sort of
can tell you
stripping everything back
so
and
many
it's just
instances
falling
of
apart,
that
right?
happening
Yeah.
because right now, like when you said it, the one that always comes to mind is I think we did a change out or something at a hospital for like a walk-in box, and we like I strive my, I try to do everything perfect. I try to do. There's
Yeah.
instances where something happens and it's not perfect, it's not pretty, but I try, right? And I was like,
Yep.
no, I know I did everything right. I know I did it like it should be working right now. And then me and my brother went outside, and then like just playing around, like touching everything, I finally realized there was a screw loose. And I was like, are you kidding
Yeah.
me? We tightened it. Boom, the unit freaking kicked on. And I went
Yeah.
inside because I was like, let me go check. And I went inside and it was working. My brother was like tailing me to check.
Yeah.
And then he walked immediately back out because I was pissed. And because we
Yeah.
were there late, we were there all night, like into the evening or something like that. And my
Yeah.
dad was telling me, he's like, yeah, your brother came back out like kind of like a scared look on his face. And he had told my dad that he's never heard me cuss so much and yell so much because I went into that walk in and I just started like cussing out that unit. I was like a freaking
Yeah.
screw. I was like, all right, but we got it going.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always those ones on a Friday afternoon, late Friday afternoon.
Yeah, man.
You've got events booked with your family, or and you've got those calls coming in from your partner saying,
How
"Where are
how
you?" And it's
how do you manage that if you're doing this on the side?
yeah,
Like, how do you manage your
good
family
question.
time?
That's a great question. Um, I'm all about family first, as you probably know from me, and I structure the things that I'm doing outside my family time, and so I do my best to let me rephrase this, and this is always a working order for me because there's times where I just drop the ball.
It's difficult.
Um, it is difficult. It's extremely difficult. Plus, as I shared earlier, I've got handling another job, as in my 9 to 5
Hmm.
job. I've got this, and then I've got a family with a daughter with special needs. So that
Oh
adds a
yeah.
whole nother flavor. And so I, I I start early at Transpower. I can come home early, which gives me time to get changed, jump in my vehicle, run service call, or do quotes. I try to do my installs on the weekends, and so I am working the weekends. This past weekend, I worked Saturday and Sunday on a Panasonic ducted install, um, and I try to. Um, It's hard, man. I'm not going to say I've got this down pat, but I make sure I get the calendar from my partner about the family activity first, and
Yeah.
I block it in the calendar, and then I live by the calendar. So if I get a call, and well, first off, let me do this. I get calls, and if no one leaves a message, I don't think I don't think they deserve me to call back. So
Okay,
if someone's left a message and said,
I'm going through something similar right now because I'm
so
starting to handle the
I'm
calls more.
yeah. Yeah, I've made a decision. If a customer's calling me on my phone on my Capital Coast line, and they haven't left a message, then I continue on with my day.
Sure.
And if they do send me a text message after that says, "Hey, I'm interested in need to get a quote," or "I've got a problem here," then that's when I return the call. Um,
I
uh,
just had that
Maybe it would be
conversation
different.
in one of my videos because we started using like an AI answering service, right?
Yes,
Because I want to get it off my dad. My dad did that whole thing where it was his line that was a business line, right? And I'm trying to detach that from his line to a new line, putting in
sure.
all the marketing, all the wraps and everything, and it's working. But we're using an AI service, so I don't know if it was today's video or yesterday's video. I went on I explained it a little bit because right
Mm,
now we're just so busy and so like
yeah.
everything's just been crazy. Like I only deal with the customers that like leave a message with the AI service, right? Because
Yes.
it's not anything crazy. It just asks you, hey, what's your reason for calling? Leave your address and number. We'll get back to you. That kind of deal, right? And I'm like, if they do
Yep.
that, then yes, I'm gonna call them back every time. Or if they send a text or leave a
Yes.
voicemail, anything like that, like those, yes, because you know that they're serious. You know that they actually want work done and they're ready. I can tell you, I've
Yep.
tried calling the other ones back that don't leave messages, or I'm playing phone tag with most of them. Like it's just a waste of
Yeah.
time, to be honest. So we've kind of
I agree.
implemented that too, and I feel like maybe later when we figure out the whole workload thing and maybe I'm in the office more,
Sure.
then maybe somebody else can answer my phone. That's when we'll get to everybody, but it's
Yes.
priority, right? Like for you, it's priority
Yeah.
for the work that you want and the time that you have. You got to balance it.
Yeah. Like I had something that came through last night. So it was a customer who I service their aircon and do other random work sometimes for them as well. They're I guess you would say that they're quite well off, and big farmers, sometimes they pay me in meat. sometimes. Like I get paid by them, and they, I go back to my van, and they've put a big tray of their, you know, non-hormone, grass-fed, clean kill, and I've got meat for the last next, 3 or 4 months in the
Yeah.
fridge. But I get a text message from them, and they have like a really early Fujitsu system, and it's one of their very, very early kind of multi splits. And anyway, so one of their systems went down, and I get a text message. Oh, we had a power surge, and the system's not coming on. And they send me a text message, and that was at 8 o'clock at night. I've got no worries sending them a text message back, going, no problem. I'll check my schedule. I could probably get
Yeah.
out there tomorrow afternoon. I loved it, but that's because I've got a relationship with these.
Okay,
And they've
that's
left a text
my
message. So a text message and email,
yeah.
but if you're not going to leave a voice message, then I'm sorry, you're not on my important list to call you back. Or I
And
may
that
never call
that's
that number back.
that's
Yeah,
understanding what you can do, because you're a small business. It's you, right?
yeah,
And we had to do that too, because and then like the spam calls, like the customer has to understand we deal with so much crap with our number being out there, right? Plastered everywhere. So
sure.
that's another thing, right? That AI thing for me has eliminated all the spam calls that we have to deal with. So that's been a big help. But um, yeah,
Yeah,
what I was gonna say is that thing that I have in place for the AI and the automation, that's only for new customers. Once we build a relationship and I've done some work, they
yeah,
usually request my number, but I give them my personal number that they can text me at. I'm like, yeah, text me anytime. And like the customers that I got recently, I've just been texting them all week and last week too, because they wanted some, some quotes, some things done after I did a couple of calls for them. They were happy, and they've been texting me. And I'm,
yeah,
like you said, it's okay for me to text them. Hey, I'll be there tomorrow. Hey, I got you on the schedule
yes,
for whatever day. Hey, I'm going to get that quote ready and I'll send it to you as soon as I have it, stuff like that. So we use it for new customers. And then, like you said, once you build that relationship, because my dad does that too. He texts, all the old customers that we have. And that's an easy
yep,
way to get, your message across. Like just send a text. I'll be there, schedule you, whatever it is. Um,
yep,
and that's a big help, because again, it's you, and you're doing it on the side basically, and you're working
yep.
weekends, so you're basically working every day of the week now, and it's a lot.
Yes, and it does go back to how do you balance your work life, family, and I guess, to be brutally honest, it's something that I've always got to keep in check in me, because I'm a bit of a workaholic naturally. So
I am the same way.
I've just put it out that way, and um, but I'm really enjoying it. I think that continuous learning. I've recently set some more electrical exams, and done some more things around that side of my mind around electricity, and not that I want to become a sparky or electrician. No,
Yeah.
but it's nice to have a bit more of awareness of stuff like that when you're either in the power industry or in the trades that we are in, HVAC or HVACR. That's been something that I guess, when I speak to my mentors, and keeping things exciting, and that's some of the stuff that I do. And but I've pushed it pretty hard for a while now. 3 years of doing both. I've kind of found my groove, and I've kind of found where I'm in the area that I live here in Wellington, of seasonal changes, when it's quiet, when it's busy. It may be a bit different story, Adrian. If it was just my sole gig doing Capital and Coast, and I needed that phone number to call, and
Yeah.
and answer those, because I need the work, because I've got mortgages and stuff like that. But yeah, I can be a bit more picky and choosy with the customers that I have, and I've got
Well,
great customers, mate. Yeah,
yeah, with us that took a while. Like I'm happy to be where we're at now, that we can pick and choose, because yes, in the
yeah,
beginning, like I've mentioned this before, I took a pay cut from a grocery store to go work for my dad, and
yeah,
I didn't make much money when I started. Like not at all. I was
yeah,
good with my money. try to put money aside. I didn't spend it on anything stupid. I was able to.
Yeah.
I lived on my own. I didn't. I moved out shortly after high school, and
Yes.
I had bills to pay. I had a car to pay. I could go down another whole little rant because I have two younger brothers. They got their stuff paid for. You know, the oldest always has to
Yeah.
get their own stuff. So
You paved the way, though. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had bills, and I had to, I had to be good with my money. But
Yep.
shortly after that, I started working for my dad, like I said, and man, we tried to do everything, and it was, that, we're trying to hustle, we're trying to make it because like you said, we have bills to pay. My dad
Yeah.
was trying to build it up slowly because he actually worked for a big company here that he helped build, and it was kind of like a sneaky thing because his somebody they actually knew kind of ratted him out, and there was that whole thing where he's like, I quit, and they said they fired him. That was a whole other thing. I had to go pick him up
Mm.
because they took the vehicle, and he had a box of his crap sitting outside, and that jump started our business, and we didn't have like that, what do you call it, that safety net of like, oh, it's just a side gig. No, this is for real right now. So sometimes that
Yeah.
happens, and
Yes.
you got to hit the ground running, and you're worried about payments and bills and
Yeah.
paying each other, like paying me just because I was the only worker for him, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So there is that aspect of it, and then kind of what you're doing, trying to balance, two, to build one and still have your bills paid and all that kind of stuff. But you can pace yourself basically, and
Yes.
you love this industry and you love what you do, so it's good to see, and I'm happy that you still have your business because some businesses don't even
Yeah.
last. I mean, that's a whole other thing.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, like, yeah, I love it. And yeah, great customers. I got customers that pay me even before I do the job, and customers that pay, most of my day is seven day terms, and so they turn things around really quickly
Oh,
in
that's
payment.
awesome.
The day of, getting each job. I can tell you every job that I do, something from that job, hopefully profit. Something comes off the top to make things easier and better for me. I think you talked about not having a drill for ages and doing everything by hand. I had a flare block doing flares manually for 25 years.
Dude, I
My
barely bought
yellow
an
jacket,
automatic one a few
right?
years ago.
And I just like this year I purchased a Navac. What's the
Yeah.
Navac version? And I tell you what, it just makes such a difference when you get you get a tool like that when yes, you've been doing it a certain way for 25 years or something, 25 years or not even longer, doing a flare not that way, and then getting an electronic one. I swear to God, I still got the flare box, I still carry
Yeah,
it,
me too.
but 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 how good was that tool? I reckon that was so. You talk about the best tool for 2025 for me was that was that tool, and then getting some of my service checker stuff like the D checker for or other smart stuff to plug into systems to get that
Yeah,
information.
it's
Um,
funny because I could make and I was pretty confident because I was taught how to make a flare in
yeah,
school, and I did it perfect
yeah,
every time. I can confidently say that I made a perfect flare every time with a
yeah,
I don't know if it was a Subco or Yellow Jacket flaring block, but it was the manual
yeah,
one that you had to
yeah.
twist and move the pipe up and
Move
down
the
and
thing
twist
and then
it.
yeah,
But it wasn't that there were some better ones now, but this was the old school
yes,
one.
yeah, yeah. Same.
And
Yep.
it would hurt your hand and dig into your hand. Like I did all that. And I used to do
Yeah,
my tube expansions like that too. I never had a hydraulic one before. That block that I had did both swedge and flaring, and that's how I did all my couplings and everything too, because I didn't like to buy couplings. I would make my own. Did it all by
yeah,
hand. So I did all that all the time. And then yeah, when I bought the Navac set, because I bought everything from Navac, that
yeah,
that felt really good because I was like, I can make it, but I'm not gonna do it anymore, right? I'm gonna use
yeah,
that battery powered one now. I have that. I have all the battery powered ones now, so it's like not even an issue.
yeah. you get all the tools. You get all the tools for free, man. Whatever.
No, I bought
um,
those.
I know. Yeah, I know you did. Um, the other one I got, which is really cool, is talking about flare nuts and stuff and flaring. Is this tool by Tasco? And it's a torque wrench. I don't know. I'm sorry. There's a bit of a delay on when I'm holding it up. There you go. So it's a double-ended torque wrench. So it's quarter one side and 3/8 on the other. And so it's already factory set to the torque setting, and so you can just I had another torque set that you have to bring out and adjust the torque setting, and then
Oh
clip it
yeah,
on,
yeah.
and then
I've seen those.
for 20 years before that, it was just your arms with the torque. It was just, you get used to
Yeah,
you just get
and
used to doing it. I'll
I
be honest with
learned.
you, and
Yeah, I learned from my dad how to do that kind of stuff because he never used any of those tools. He was like, you
yeah,
gotta do it.
man,
He would always tell me, "Oh, hand tight, extra quarter turn, or go
yeah,
as far as you can, and then give it an extra like little half turn or something." Those were always his explanations on how to tighten stuff.
yes,
So
yeah,
and I used that, and I got better at it
yeah,
because I've worked with
yeah,
guys that either leave it too loose or they break something because they go too hard, and
yeah,
I mean that's what the torque wrench is for. But my dad never had one. We did all that by feel.
yeah. All by feel, and then doing it up and then releasing it, and then doing it up it slightly again.
Yeah, I
So
like to do that even like
that
with the
technique.
fan
And
blades and stuff on the set screws.
my
Uh,
daughter just popped in.
yeah, I'll do that sometimes with like the set screws and stuff. Like back it out and then go back in, make sure it bites down right and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, all that was by hand before.
So I want to send you some stuff. So once I get my hat design done, I'll send you a hat, and maybe you can give it away with to some of your guests,
Sure.
um, or or whatever. And then the other thing is I'm big about safety and ear and protection, hearing and eye stuff, and so this is a local Kiwi company called MuffTech, noise cancellating Bluetooth, and it works great. My daughter's autistic as well, so she rocks these on planes because she's sensitive to noise and sound and that kind
Oh,
of
okay.
stuff. But yeah, it'd be great to send you a sample up there and have it as a gift, or someone that you want to bless or something or whatever, give it
Sure,
away.
man. I've been trying
That'd
to
be
give
cool.
out
So
or start doing those again where I can give out some stuff here and there because I know you mentioned earlier I get some free stuff and I do and they accumulate and I would rather them go to somebody that can actually use everything, and I
yeah,
do want to start that up again.
I saw some tools that you I think showed today, the yellow probes, and where are they from? IROC or something like that, or
That's UEI.
UEI, is it? Okay, yeah.
Are you
Haven't never
familiar
seen
with
those
them?
before. No,
They
we don't have them here.
well, UEI testing instruments. I love their thermometers. That's what I've bought from them. Those
Right.
probes are interesting because they pivot and they have a charging
I
port
saw
on
that.
them,
Yeah.
which is what I like about the JB ones. And what else? Oh, the clamps are super nice. They're super sleek. So we'll see
Yeah.
how they do because it's always like they look nice until I get to the field and I have to actually put them on some of these weird systems where they keep trying to hide the ports and I got to figure out if they fit. You know, I still got to have a manifold for some of these units because they put the freaking service valves and
Yep.
service ports like side by side and it's like nothing
Yeah.
fits in there.
You can't get the same. I noticed that even sometimes like putting my Appion uh, quarter presser or something, it's just like they make it so difficult, and or
Oh,
it's on the wrong
I
angle,
was, yeah,
and it's like
I was
why would you
saying,
do this?
do they even want us to do a proper vacuum because I can't put my
Yeah,
core tool on a lot of these.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I know, no, I hear you. But yeah, well, I guess that's what I probably wanted to talk about today with some of the tools, and
that's great.
um,
I did want to say it was great catching up with you. I kind of
yeah,
wanted to end on this comment real quick.
sure,
Train, pass it on. The training to develop skills and share the demand. I think technicians good quality
Yeah.
technicians are in high demand, right? I forgot who I talked
Yeah.
about this with, and like I said earlier, I
Yeah.
recorded like a trades podcast with somebody, asking about the industry, asking about the trades and stuff like that. And when we
Yeah.
were talking about like how I got into it, it's because my dad did it, and
Same.
a lot of
Yeah.
people do that or have that in their family, and they get into it by that way, like a family member, or they get into it by mistake. Um, that's usually the story, but sometimes passing on the knowledge is the best part. I'm finding joy in these apprentices that we have
Yeah.
right now, and training them and helping them, and
Yeah.
kind of giving them something that I didn't have too much of. I did have like one or two mentors that were awesome, and they gave me like really good tips, and they were
Yeah.
one of them was funny. I've mentioned it before. Like, he gave everybody a hard time. He was busting everybody's balls, like horrible to some of these guys that we worked with. But he
Yeah.
saw that I was actually like learning and fixing shit, and he's like, "No, this kid gets it." And he really like took a liking to me, so I'm thankful for that, because he's giving me some good
Yeah.
tips, especially in the beginning when I struggled and I was like, "What the hell am I doing? What am I looking at?" Like, I would get frustrated, and this and
Yeah.
that. He was there to help me. Um, my dad, like I said, if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be in this, because he started the business. I always give him credit for all that kind of stuff. The other thing
Yeah.
that I started telling him, I was like, you don't realize how much you've done for people, because he trained a lot of people at his old company, because he was technician of the year, he was supervisor, manager, like all these things, and
Yeah.
everybody loved him. I have two family members, and I'll kind of end with this, because speaking on training and passing it on, that one did car alarms, one did like odd end jobs and stuff. Nothing that they were happy about. My dad got that position at that other company, and he had the power to hire people. He's like, I'm gonna hire, these family members so I can train them. Dude,
Yeah.
those guys have lucrative careers now in HVAC, specifically because
Yeah.
that's what they preferred. Because he got them in the industry and their foot in the door, and trained them up and got them to be really good technicians. Like, they used to work for us, and they would run calls, and they were really good. We did get
Yeah.
screwed over by them at one point, so uh, family, it happens. Um,
Yeah.
but I was telling him recently, I was like, you don't understand how many people you've helped just by training and sharing
Yeah.
knowledge. We need more of that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, and we have probably a similar gap in trade skills here in New Zealand as probably what they have in Australia, and from what I hear in the US as well, that of trying to I guess bring up the next generation, like the Ewok young
Mm-hmm.
guy who's third year in, and how do we mentor those and give them that knowledge? Because back when I was doing my time, knowledge was king, and it was very
Yeah,
hard to get knowledge from your senior
knowledge
techs
and
and your
experience.
journeymen, and you had to go through the lessons of hard learns for to be able to tap into some of that knowledge, and or just sit and listen, or be quiet and hand a tool.
Oh yeah.
And I've worked for union, non-union, and I've had all the experience, and but I can count you probably on two hands out of 20, 27, 20 something years of those technicians that really made a change in my life, and
Yeah.
they're golden. And so I'm totally, yeah, with you 100%. Just passing it on, sharing everything I've learned to a tech, or to someone who's willing to hear it and learn. It's what's going to keep our trade alive and healthy. I fell into the trade. I was When I was 17, I left school. I started wall and floor tiling for an Italian family in Sydney, and they went out of business a month after. And then I was so embarrassed. I didn't want to go back to school, Adrian, because I thought, man, I'm going to go back to school with my tail between my legs. And then my mum rang up another friend of mine at school whose dad owned an air conditioning refrigeration shop, and said, Mick has lost his job. Do you have anything going? And that's how I fell into it. I didn't even know there was an air conditioning refrigeration trade.
Yeah.
And but just that one small decision, and there you go, sets you up for the rest of your life, pretty much. So,
That's my whole thing.
uh,
This is a very
yeah,
you know, it's worth it to have a career in the trades, whatever trade it is.
Yeah.
um, the sky's the limit with what you want to do, and you can also just be as small as you want. Like, you're pacing yourself and doing well. I've always said I like
Yeah.
being a small business. I don't want to have 40 vans out there. I don't want that headache. So
Yeah.
sky's the limit, but you can kind of control what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any
How big are you
anything
gonna?
else?
Uh,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just keen. That, like, for me, yeah. I'm pretty happy with keeping Capital and Coast as a small outfit. A lot of people have different aspirations on how they want to
Yeah.
grow their business and business goals, and for me, and family and stuff like that, it's like, I don't want to have I don't want to have a huge shop,
I'm the same way.
and keeping it tight and small, is I guess, the goal for us. And but yeah, so I'd be keen to hear what some of your business plans, or even if it's not now, but maybe offline, or but yeah, keen to see
Well,
how things grow, and you know
yeah, real quick, because I've kind of sprinkled in some of the stuff that we have going on throughout this show. But the
yeah,
first step was hiring a couple of guys, which we did. We have one that is older that came from nursing. I didn't think he was going to make it, but he's been one of the best damn young
yeah,
technicians that I've run into, doing this for so long. Like,
awesome,
he gets it, he learns it, he applies everything that he learns. So I've been impressed because there's been a couple of calls recently, especially when I went out of town. I was out of town this past weekend to do a little getaway for myself because I got stressed out. I was
yeah,
like, we need to get out of here. And I had to give him a call of mine for a new customer. And I was like, if you can go take care of it, that'd be awesome, this and that. And then whenever he
yeah,
reads me back, like what he did, I was like, oh shit, okay, that's exactly what I would have done. So you're well on your way, man. You're good. You're golden. He
yeah,
doesn't understand like the end result part, like what to recommend
sure,
yet, or anything like that. I was like, no, no, no. I was like, as long as you troubleshoot, kind of tell me what's going on, we can figure it out from there. So he's been good. And then we
yeah,
have another one that came out of high school that wants to learn, and he's taking the initiative to. I think he brought up SkillCat, and I was like, yes, I've heard of it. So he's gonna do the SkillCat like training
yeah,
online, and trying to get it that way, get his EPA and everything like that. And there's another one that will be with us this next summer. Um, that is another young guy out of I think he's coming out of a trade school. Like, he's out of high school going into a trade school. And I'm like,
yeah,
that those were the first steps that I needed so I could do more back end business stuff, so I can
yeah,
relieve some of the workload from my dad, right? Because I
yeah,
really want him to step back a little bit to enjoy himself.
sure,
So that's been the plan. And the way work has been, I seriously need like at least two other people next year, because like we've been
yeah,
holding off so long and doing this, and I understand because my dad wanted for it to be consistent, because we
yeah,
have had those issues early on where we hired a lot of people because we thought we
yeah,
needed the help, and we had a lot of work at the time, and then we had no
yes,
work and we couldn't pay anybody. So we've been there, and that's why I say it's always good to pace yourself. And we're gonna take a look at how the year went at the end of the year, and like I said, we know we for sure there's one coming next year, but I would really like to have two next year, and kind of build it
yeah,
out from there. We're doing a lot of maintenance agreements. That's a great way for the guys to learn. My brother I've kind of made him in charge of the maintenance because he's better at that. And
yeah,
I can just do all the difficult calls, check in on people, and then kind of keep the business side in check, because when I'm in the field, it gets backed up so bad. That's the hard balance for me because I don't like to be here
yeah,
at the desk.
yeah.
And then
Well, thanks,
I
thanks
get in
so much.
trouble with my dad. He's like, why aren't these invoices submitted? I'm like, well, I was working freaking till 8 o'clock at night the other day.
Yeah. Yep.
It's hard.
Yep. It is hard. Yeah. No, I hear you with that. But yeah, thanks for giving me the time to come on. Your channel's grown so much
Always a
reliable
pleasure, man.
trades.
I love
Um,
talking talking with you, kind of catching up with you. Love seeing what you've done and how passionate you are. You know, even if you are working two jobs, you're still very passionate, because most people would dread, doing this kind of work day in and day out. But you seem very motivated, very passionate about it, and that's always good to see.
yeah, thanks, man. And same, and yeah, thanks for all your tips and tricks. Oh, what's your favorite tool for 2025? What's your favorite tool?
Favorite tool right now, if I had to think off the top of my
Yeah.
head, I'm really liking the switch. Even though I'm a field piece person as well, the switch
Yeah.
to the JB probes, because
Yeah.
of the screen and the charging port. So that's been kind of my favorite tool right now. I just
Yeah.
stick them in my pocket, go do a call, and I might not even take out my
Yeah.
phone. So that's
Yeah.
been
Gotcha.
really good for me lately. Hopefully, Field Piece has a Gen 2 coming out, soon.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, the turbo tank has been a lifesaver this year because of the all the maintenance that we've done. It's that portable washer.
Okay. Those things are expensive here, like
Really?
proper expensive. Yeah, well, anything
Yeah,
here
yeah, yeah.
from yeah, but
Well, I
yeah,
know I
but
know there's other I'm pretty sure there's other brands out there that do it, but
sure.
just in
Yeah.
general, having a portable washer like that, because
Yeah.
again, we've signed so many people to maintenance now. We have maintenance every month. So that thing gets used like crazy, and I got a second one to make sure
Yeah.
we can give one out when someone else is doing the maintenance, because I've been doing them a lot this year.
Yeah.
So that's been one of my favorite things, just because of the maintenance that we do.
Yeah. Gotcha.
All right, man.
Awesome.
Well, I'm gonna hit the outro. I'm gonna sign off here. I appreciate you for taking the time.
Thanks for having me on. Good to catch up.
Everybody, everybody watching and listening, make sure you leave a review on the podcast. I appreciate you guys that listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that kind of stuff. It's really grown a lot. I've been enjoying doing this. This is why I do it, because I love, the community. The chat was great tonight. When we get to do this live, I think I'm going to do one more live next week, and then we'll get back to the regular episodes that I was supposed to do. But it's always a good time to chat with you, man, and kind of catch up. And again, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I appreciate everybody for watching and listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care.
All right, I always mess this part up. Outro. There. Nope. There.